What is the Hadith of Jibril? It's very important to remember that this Hadith of Jibril that we've gone through, it's one of the most comprehensive and important Hadith that has to do with our religion. In fact, at the end of the narration, it's mentioned, the Prophet ﷺ said that Jibril came to teach you your religion. And so the expectation here for our exam is that you're aware of what does this hadith entail, or you have a general idea about the hadith since we've gone through it in class. And a summary of the hadith is, a man one day came into the masjid while Umar radiallahu anh was sitting in the mosque. And this hadith is narrated by Umar radiallahu anh, right? So it's coming from his perspective. So they're sitting in the mosque one day, this man walks in, he's wearing white clothes, very white clothes, very black hair, which we mentioned is strange because in the desert, at that time, you either know the people in your city, or if this guy's a stranger, then he's probably a traveler, he's coming from somewhere else. But if you're traveling at that time, it's very hard to keep yourself that clean and have clothes that are that nice, especially when you travel that type of distance in the desert. So they found it strange. And this man came and he sat next to the Prophet ﷺ. He put his knees against his knees and he placed his hands on his thighs. And he asked the Prophet ﷺ some questions. He said, "What is Islam?" And the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned Islam is to testify that there is no God worthy of worship except for Allah, and that Muhammad ﷺ is his messenger, and that you perform salah, and that you pay zakah, and that you fast Ramadan, and that you perform hajj if you have the ability. And then the man said to the Prophet ﷺ, "You've spoken the truth." And they were surprised, everyone who was around, that he asked a question, this man, and then, usually you ask to learn something or to know something, but he already knew the answer and he said, "You've spoken the truth," to the Prophet ﷺ. Then the man asked, "What's Iman?" And he said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, Iman is to believe in Allah and His angels and His books and His messengers and the last day, and to believe in Qadr, the good of it and the bad of it. And this man, again, he says, "You've spoken the truth." And then the man asked the Prophet ﷺ, he says, "What's ihsan?" So the Prophet ﷺ, he said that ihsan is that you worship Allah as though you see Him, and if you cannot, then He sees you. And then the man asked about when is the hour, the day of judgment. The Prophet ﷺ said, "The one who you ask is not more knowledgeable than the one who is asking." Meaning, I don't know any more than you. So he asked for some signs of it, and the Prophet ﷺ said, he said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that the slave girl would give birth to her master, and that you would find the Bedouin Arabs, shepherds, would be competing to construct tall buildings. And so when that man went away, Umar radiallahu anh, again this narration is coming from his perspective, he's retelling this account. He said, "We were sitting for a while, and then the Prophet ﷺ asked me, 'Who was that man?' And I said, 'Allah and His Messenger know best.' And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, 'That was Jibril. He came to teach you your religion.'" And so this is a very important hadith. It has many key aspects, Islam, Iman, Ihsan, summarized for us here in this one hadith. And inshallah you'll find, I'll mention, or I'll have the hadith and the proofs and the evidences that I bring in these summary videos, inshallah, in the comments, or comments or description. If you don't find it, please notify me, and I'll inshallah ensure that those are there for anyone's reference. And inshallah, I hope to see you in the next video, bi'idhnillah.